Hi, friends, and welcome back. Today is the 8th day of the Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge, and the prompt today is bright. And I sure hope that you brought your sunglasses along because I took this prompt seriously. We are going neon today. I can't say it's my favorite when it's done, but it was fun to go a little bit different and go super bright. So, my first instinct was to go with acrylic inks. I have some really fun neons that I like to use, but I didn't want to have too much of a drying time, and I wanted to kind of use a different supply. I've already used acrylic inks a couple times in this challenge, so I just wanted to change things up a little bit. So I went ahead with a spray paint that I have. It's a water-based spray paint. It's virtually odorless, so you can use it inside. As always, I try to link all of the items that I use in the description below if I know where they are from. Sometimes I miss listing something, so if I do, please don't hesitate to ask, and I will try to find out where that is from. So I knew that I wanted to start with somewhat of an overall design. I meant to get that stencil a little bit more off-centered, so you almost had like a complete circle on the left side and then just a part of one on the right side, but that's okay. Things don't always go as expected. Next up, I wanted to go back to that acrylic ink a little bit. This is one of the Golden High Flow acrylics, and it's going to take a while to dry here. So I did go ahead and pause my timer, and that ink color is just not spreading in quite the way that I wanted it to. And so I'm going to hit that with the spray bottle, and that's always a surefire way with those acrylic inks to really get them to spread out and maybe to do a little bit more of what you want. All right, I started my timer back up. I keep telling myself not to do things with extra water during these 5-minute challenges so that I don't have to pause my timer, but I love using water in my work. I love the way that it can help color spread out and to do unexpected things. So I'll probably never change in that regard. I'm gonna go ahead and just go for this bright color scheme and adds in some neon orange. So this one is definitely going crazy and kind of against my usual where I just use one color and add black and white. Um, Again, in the end, it's not my favorite, but I enjoy doing something a little bit different. I think if we're always doing the exact same thing, we're not going to stretch our minds, our creativity. Now, the end of my sponge there was more dry than I thought it was, so it just wasn't going through that stencil very well. Plus, I don't have a lot of paint that I'm using. That cap is really kind of drying up, and I should replenish the paint there. All right, and I don't like to usually use the stencil across the whole page or to use the stencil in its entirety, but rather just use little sections of it. It creates a more random look and a more unexpected look, I think. As you can tell here, I'm a little stuck. This page did not end up going where I thought it was going to go, and I is just looking for the direction that I'm going to take next. When I am stuck, I often like to pick up that pencil and do a few little scribbles. I think it just helps loosen up your mind, loosen up your hands, and to kind of move on to the next thing. I want to add in that prompt label there, but the colors really did not end up matching what I was doing. So I just tore it down so it was smaller, and I'm adding a little bit of white to the edges to make it stand out from the background. I dipped that directly in paint and then kind of just rubbed it in and around. Might have been better to try to put that on just with the edge of my finger. As you can see, I really don't know where to go next. And I think that just proves that everyone has trouble sometimes. Not every page is going to flow perfectly and exactly how we want it to go. We can have the best plans going into it, but that doesn't mean that everything is just going to come together. But if we can try to keep working at it and see if we can at least get it to a place that we're okay leaving it behind and moving on. I know if I'm going to put that label down on the page, I need something behind it to make it stand out a little bit. Otherwise, it's just going to be completely lost in that page. I'm taking a little scrap, and I'm hoping that the boldness of the black and white will help that label stand out in some way. I'm just trying different combinations of different things, seeing what might work, what will work well enough that I can live with it and move on to the next thing. And I think the pages that we really struggle with, we can be really hard on ourselves. And then we come back another day and look at it, and it's not so bad. It's actually okay. We're harder on ourselves than we need to be, and I think we just need to give ourselves a little bit of grace and forgiveness and move on to the next thing and know that not everything is perfect all the time. So I'm going to leave the page at that, and I hope that I will see you tomorrow for day number 9 of the Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge. Have a good one.